Bonsoir, mes amis. Ça va? Ah, oui. It is my pleasure to welcome you all this evening to our second night of our Fete Creole. And this festival is designed to celebrate all of the aspects of the culture of New Orleans, as much as we can vocally. One of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is the salon. It was a tradition in early New Orleans that you could invite people to your home and there would be artists there to sing the operas of the day, to just perform and enjoy. We're going to start off that way, and then we're going to celebrate our composer from the 19th century, Edmond Dédé. It's a great history that I'll come back to in a little while. My daughter, co-founder of OperaCréole, is too ill to be with us tonight, so I ask you to keep her in your prayers. We started this about 11 years ago this month, and we have continued to be focused on presenting and preserving and researching lost or rarely produced works by composers of African descent, with a special emphasis on 19th century New Orleans free composers of color, and so many aspects of our history that's not as well known. So this is our focus, and this is what we're adding to tonight. Tomorrow night, we have a mega star who is graciously coming in to sing for us while she's on her way to Cincinnati to sing the title role in Aida. Mary Elizabeth Williams, wonderful soprano. She was here in 2009 in New Orleans Opera's production of Tosca, and then she also came back for Il Trovatore. She was a Leonora, and so we're really excited to have her with us tomorrow. So, now because I have a twisted sense of humor, I have to start off with just an observation. We're going to start off tonight with an aria from Julius Caesar. And we know that Caesar was just recently put on the dome, our Superdome. His image is there. And a Jewish friend of mine called and said, now, do I have this right? Did the original Caesar feed the saints to the lions? I said, yeah. So I'm not sure if that's good luck or not. But tonight we start off with Julius Caesar. And I'm so glad to have back with us our principal soprano, Kenya Lawrence Jackson. She's going to start off with this aria where Cleopatra is seducing Julius Caesar and saying how she adores him and how she loves him and all of those good manipulative things that we like to use. And then she will sing an aria from the medium called The Black Swan, which is kind of a dark lullaby, but she's trying to comfort a person in the middle of the breakdown. So it's a very interesting piece. So we'll get started with that, and we'll bring out our wonderful pianist, Miss Anna Briscoe. We're glad to have her with us. Kenya Lawrence Jackson.
Sacro
find in most of these pieces there is a running thread of longing, of acceptance, of love. Opera is not as far away from us as we tend to think. All of these stories translate into our everyday lives now, the things that we want now, the things that we suffer from now. And so we want to always be sure that opera makes those connections with you. This next one is by William Grant Still, who has been considered the father of African American composers, an opera composer that is rarely, his work is rarely performed. He's known for symphonies, but he's not as known for his operas. And the title of this says everything, Give Me No Body Without Your Soul. To sing this from the opera Blue Steel is Taylor White. Someone asked me, why does Otello kill Desdemona? And we had a lot of discussion about that. He was a Moor, he was a black man in this, what we consider today unusual, but the Moors had quite a presence in England and Spain in those years. But someone said maybe he was just tired of trying to be accepted. Maybe he was just tired, he'd had enough. Don't know. Tyrone Chambers may have some thoughts.
We are so easily given to gossip, are we not? And for those of you who were here last night, you heard me sing No Puede Ser from the operetta, from the zarzuela La Tarbonera del Puerto. And so I seem to be drawn to these roles where there is a snake in the grass lying to me. Because just as last night's aria, this aria is about a man who has a friend who has lied to him about the woman that he loves. Unfortunately, in this opera, as you know, in this story, it gets the better of him. In the zarzuela, it does not. Her innocence is proven and they move on. But here in this aria, Otello is crying out to God, Dio mi potevi scagliar. God, I would have rathered all of my accomplishments be boiled down into a heap of rubbish than to have this pain in my heart. So think about that. Dio mi potevi scagliare tutti I mali.
Dio mi potevi scagliare tutti I mali della miseria, della vergogna, far dei miei baldi trofei trionfali una maceria, una menzogna. E avrei portato la croce crudel d'angosce e donde con calma fronte era segnato al volere del cielo. Pianto o duol, m'han rapito il miraggio dov'io giulivo l'anima queto. Spentue quel sol, quel sorriso, quel raggio che mi fa vivo, che mi fa lieto. Spento è quel sol, quel sorriso, quel raggio che mi fa vivo, che mi fa lieto. al fin clemenza, io genio immortal, dal roseo riso, copri il tuo viso santo, colori dall'alba infernal. Ah, dannazione! Pria confessi il delitto, e poscia voia, confession, confession, la prova.
I love this running theme because people of 19th century New Orleans, as they gathered in their homes and enjoyed this beautiful music and shared their beautiful music, there was this thread of this love and this excitement and this free people of color, but not totally free, still trying to make their way through. And this theme runs into the story that we will tell you later about Edmond Dédé. Next, we go to Rigoletto and Giambes, and they're both men of a certain disfigurement who are, one is making his way through love and happiness, the other makes his way through revenge, kind of like people do today. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Hobson.
Faceste voi rabbia esser difforme, rabbia esser diffone, non dover altro che ridere. Il re ragio d'ognuno tolto, il pianto. Questo padrone mio, giovin, giocondo, si possente, bello, sonnecchiando mi dice, faghi a ride, buffone, forzarmi legio e farlo, ora nazione, odio a voi cornigiani schernitori, quando il morner mio gioia, sei iniquosone, per gaggio nostro e Qui mi cangio perché con pura unione la mente mia mi goverà sventura anno e volia.
Okay, I'm getting a little warm. I'm so excited to talk about Edmond Dédé. It's such a wonderful, wonderful New Orleans story. His parents came to New Orleans as free people from Saint-Domingue, and in that time of New Orleans history, if you came into the city as a free person, you remained a free person. So in 1827, Edmond was born free. He, at first, worked in a cigar factory, I think he took up the clarinet. His father was a musician first. And then he started to study the violin. He was so ahead of his time as a man of non-mixed race, publishing music early in New Orleans, wasn't just in his house writing some things, he published it. And when it was shown that he had this promise and he wanted to go to the Paris Conservatory, he actually went down to Mexico and worked for a while in their cigar factory and made some money, made his way back here, and the people of New Orleans contributed to his, the funds that he needed to go to the Paris Conservatory. And so he did, and he was successful there. He ended up conducting in Paris for their production of La Sonnambula. So traditional big opera, there he was. He later became a conductor in Bordeaux. He spent most of his life in Bordeaux. It's a wonderful story in that a lot of his, we're not even touching on, I still have a stack of music we haven't learned yet. But there's a lot of art songs. He's known more for his orchestral pieces. Hot Springs Orchestra, back in 2000, recorded some of the orchestral pieces that they had. But his operas have not gotten much attention. So what we're going to look at is some of the things that he has published, but maybe never was performed. Some rarely performed. And his first two that I'm going to do are favorites of mine, that he published this first one in 1852 here in New Orleans. And as my sense of humor always goes, I think it's the first blues song. It might be classical, but I think it's the first blues song. It's so pitiful. He admires this woman on the balcony, and if she would just replenish his poor heart, if she could just come in, even if he dies, just come visit his grave. It's just very sad, but very beautiful.
souffert. Je n'ai plus d'espérance de l'avenir. J'ai trop souffert dans ma courte existence. Je vais mourir. Après ma mort, viens ma douce colombe sur mes malheurs. Viens quelquefois sur ma fosse ma tombe, vers cette plaie, vers cette
This next one, we understand, was supposed to be a part of an opera. He wrote it towards the end of his life. And whereas in New Orleans, he may not have felt comfortable speaking on events or being in protest of events, he found his way to Algeria while he was living in Bordeaux, went down to Algeria at a time when there was an invasion and the Algerians were fighting to keep their independence. And he wrote this for them in solidarity. It's a father telling the son to fight, and that there's no greater award, no greater honor, no greater blessing than to chase the lion back across the desert. So this is the Serment, the Pledge of the Arab. He had a love of military, of soldiering, that we'll see through some of these other pieces. And it's a lot of fun. He says, I could have, done more glamorous things, but I'm a soldier of France. Tyrone Chambers.
Un franc marin, né natif de la Gironde, qui pour mieux filer son chemin a fait 10 fois le tour du monde, mousse et novicé dans le sang. Je vis ces métiers en conscience, mais depuis j'ai monté d'un cran. Je suis marin de la France. Quand il vient chez l'Africain, au Mexique ou ben en Chine, à terre s'il pose son grappin, on dote dans sa cabine, jeunes et belles et pour notre bec. En amour comme un bon boss, il déteste le fruit sec, le marin de la France. Habiter le plancher des vaches, me marier, devenir cossu, avoir un peigne à ma moustache, des gants, des peignes sous les troncs, un l'oignon sur le nez, quelle chance! J'aime mieux servir mon pays, voilà le marin de la France. Au souvenir de deux pontons et de Sainte-Hélène, mon vieux père, connu pour être un des bons, qui n'adorant pas l'Angleterre, me disait souvent petit, ce qu'ils ont fait comme une vengeance, quand les brambas revenus suffit, je suis marin de la France.
Now, I should say, Edmond Dédé married while he was in France, and a woman by the name of Sylvie Leflette. And they had a son, Eugène, who also became a composer. So at some point we will add his to our repertoire. So as far as we know, Edmond Dédé is the first American-born opera composer of African descent. He started very early in writing small operas. This next one is a big pet project of mine, something that's compelling me to work on. But I'll back up and say, you know, we have this wonderful history in New Orleans, but do you know how the living Dédé family found out about him? Harold Dédé, his grandfather and brother, were on the streetcar. And the streetcar used to publish a little pamphlet. And sometimes the pamphlet would have a little something of New Orleans history or a current event or something, and they're sitting on the streetcar, and there's a pamphlet that says Edmond Dédé. It wasn't passed down through the family. No one knew. And often I found that some things did get passed down in the family because it was so dangerous for us to go out there and say, hey, I'm this, or you could be put in harm's way by being too uppity. So they just didn't tell things. So Harold Dédé II just recently died, and so I've been talking with him, and we really want to get this project underway. So 1887, Edmond Dédé writes this opera, 550 pages, fully orchestrated in French, about the Sultan of Ispahan. Ispahan is today's Iraq, I want to say. Is that correct? Iraq, okay. He was fascinated in that, but it's a great opera story because there's mistaken identity. He lost his wife. He doesn't know that his daughter is his daughter. And there's a lot of confusion in there. But of the opera, the overture has been performed and recorded by Richard Rosenberg. And these two particular pieces are the only ones that have been transcribed. To transcribe it all from his handwriting into understandable orchestral scores is like $12,000 or more. And so we have to gain that, and then we come to the point of the actual production. But I wanted to share these two arias with you, sung by Morgiane, who is the lost wife. And she's in a predicament where, first of all, she thanks her friend Ali for helping her in a crisis, and then she pleads with the Sultan for mercy. So this is Keturah Hurd, singing from Morgiane ou Le Sultan d'Ispahan.
Oh
one of the things that I love about the singers on OperaCréole's roster is that they trust me. Said, here it is. There's no CD to listen to. There's no video to help you out. There's no translation. So you have to learn it, figure out what they're saying. Sometimes I do the translation. But they are troopers in that they're with me all the way in this endeavor to bring history to life. Now, Edmond Dédé had quite a sense of humor. There's one piece that we're going to have to learn and do for you all sometime in the future. It's a choral piece, and it's called Cut the Cats and Groom the Dogs. And it has all the whoop, 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 meow. It's very wonderful. So we see his sense of humor in this piece coming up. This was his first kind of foray into opera. 1866, he wrote Françoise et Tortillard. And it was kind of his first foray. And so it's this humorous thing that's just perfectly New Orleans. So this woman has got this kind of miserable life, taking care of other people's kids. And she's dreaming about opening a restaurant. And she's thinking, you know, I kind of have feelings for this soldier guy, but I really wish that he was a chef. And so if he was a chef, then I could really open a restaurant and become the queen of Creole cuisine. Have we heard that before? So all the way in 1866, Dédé knew this particular core of New Orleans with our food and our restaurants. He only came back to New Orleans once, and it was around 1897, and unfortunately, we didn't keep him here, but it's just perfect New Orleans in this thing. So, let's see what else is there to say. So she has to make sure that the soldier can cook, Tortillard can cook. And okay, we'll find out about it. Françoise et Tortillard.
Born with a silver spoon in their mouth and can't walk around nowhere, gotta be driven around. Girl, let me stop, because if it wasn't for little Henri, I wouldn't be able to spend a few hours with my boo thing. Child, lies, and garbage, you don't know my man. Nobody knows we've been seeing each other. His name is Tortillard, and he stationed down at the barracks, and he's in the 25th Infantry Regiment. Girl, my baby's some cute too, like Trey with the fade cute, like Antoine. You remember Antoine? The one that died. Yes, and he's smart too, like Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah, but I don't even much care about all that. Nice as it is, you know I ain't trying to be no soldier wife. No, you know what I want? I want to be a fancy chef, like Leah Chase, and I want my man to be one too, so that we could open a restaurant, a gumbo restaurant down in the Treme or in the Quarter somewhere. Girl, yes. Oh my, that is my dream. yeah, I'm stuck in this job, this horrible job, cooking and cleaning up after these snooty rich folk. No, I hate this job. As hard as I work, and all they pay me is $2,500 a month. And on top of that, I gotta wipe Henri's stinky butt. I mean, they need to potty train him, pronto. Yeah, but whatever. They lucky I'm not the complaining type. My philosophy is to just roll with the punches and go with the flow.
Wazam, baby, you looking fine today. Looking so fresh and so clean. You looking like a magnolia in May. I did a pretty good job, Mag, in this one, huh?
You too, Mr. T. I'm loving your drip. But you would be even more swaggerific if you had a white vest and a tart-shaped hat.
Oh, here we go again. You always on me about that restaurant.
You already know I ain't trying to marry you unless you know how to cook.
Now come on, now you tripping. You making all this fuss about nothing when right here in front of you is a fine son of Oshun.
So you telling me your daddy was Oshun?
Oshun, the Nigerian goddess of water, purity, and love. Never mind. I was trying to be all deep and sophisticated.
Yes, exactly. But it still does not change the fact that you would be more attractive if you had on that white jacket
And a tart-shaped hat. Come on.
Yes, tortilla chef. That's my dream.
Wait. You trying to tell me you ain't never gonna love me?
Not unless you know how to cook.
How to cook? Man, cooking is hard.
But, oh, illustrious son of Hobson.
Oshun. Hobson is the Asian fusion restaurant on St. Charles. But I see what you did there.
Oshun, that's what I said. But how are you? I don't know.
You know, come
I
on.
don't.
You know, I know there are people in the business, you know, that have been doing some things, but, you know, what do you think about that?
Well, cooking is an art, and we have great artists in our craft. Porter being a prime example.
Porter. Oh, wait, I know that name. He got a friend who's a corporal. Matter of fact, they're both corporals in the 141st Field Artillery. Porter and Pari.
What an imbecile.
But Porter was never a cook. Since joining my regiment, he used to clean
No, all you naive soldier. I am not talking about Corporal Porter. I'm talking about the Tony Porter Sachery, king of chefs. The one that made the mackerel and made a D sauce, the crawfish in brown butter, tripe Normandy, and that seasoning everybody liked and put on everything.
Fair enough. Watch this. I've got an idea. You know, I used to be a cook too.
For real? Quit lying. For true? Who you work with?
I used to work in a restaurant with a few friends. Some ladies from Nicaragua.
What you call me?
Huh?
Okay. Who were they? What were their names?
What were their names? What were their names? I remember. One was Miss Concepcion y Miss Información.
Maybe I met them somewhere. I think I remember them.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Misinformation is all over New Orleans, and misconception ain't far behind.
Okay. Look, I was born in the day, but not yesterday. So I will give you the benefit of the doubt that you was a cook before you enlisted. But to convince me completely, you need to prove to me that you can throw down in the kitchen. So if you would be so kind as to tell me how to make a roux. The missus asked me to make one the other day, and I'm from Mississippi, and I don't know how to cook like that yet.
A roux?
A roux.
A roux? Now, I'm from New Orleans. I ought to know what goes in a roux, but a roux?
A roux.
A roux. Well, to prepare a roux, you first need a saucepan. Yeah,
Okay.
because you always need a saucepan.
Okay.
You got a saucepan over there at that house where them bougie people live?
Of course.
Well, then it's pretty simple once you got that. You grab, what can I make her grab? You grab the shaft of the saucepan and you shake it like that, and then it's done.
But you haven't told me what to put in the saucepan to make the roux.
Oh, true. I thought maybe I could leave it at that. So, you take butter.
Okay.
Butter, right? Butter, yeah. You take butter, lots of butter, because without butter you can't really make a roux. And you know, them people over in Calcasieu, they only cook with oil, so you know they ain't making no roux.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's.
And then what?
Oh man, this is really getting out of hand. I'm so embarrassed. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So once you put the butter in the saucepan, and then once the butter is inside the saucepan, it melts.
Oh,
because
yeah.
nothing melts faster than butter.
Yes, okay.
Except, of course, my love, you know, Miss Francoise. My love doesn't melt, not even in 350-degree heat. Quite the contrary. The hotter it gets, the stiffer it is.
Okay. But that's it?
Not really.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
You were telling me to put butter and melt it in a saucepan to make the roux.
Yes,
Are you with me?
Love made me forget about the roux. Okay, the roux. All right. So then you always need to hold the handle of the saucepan firmly, maybe even with two hands if it's a big handle, and then that's pretty much it. Then the butter melts.
Okay, Mr. Tortilla, go ahead. Just you weren't a cook, were you?